Hello and welcome to Byju's Exam Prep IAS. Let's get started and look into our daily quiz. Before we start with the practice questions for the day, a quick gentle reminder. Byju's Exam Prep IAS has launched the Mega Scholarship Program. You would be able to avail as much as 60% discount on our live online classroom program as well as the offline classroom program. This offer will be valid till 12th of June. Let's get started and look into the first practice question. Consider the following statements. Elephants and prairie dogs are found in African savannas but not in the temperate grasslands of the United States. Savannas maintain an open canopy despite a high tree density. Savannas are also characterized by seasonal water availability with the majority of rainfall confined to one season. How many of the statements are correct? The answer to this is only two statements. Why have we taken this practice question? Because this article on the Hindu makes a reference to savanna ecosystems, which is why we have taken this practice question. Let us try and understand what are these statements. When you look into the first statement, it reads, elephants and prairie dogs are found in African savannas but not in the temperate grasslands of the United States of America. This statement happens to be a wrong statement. Why? That is because when it comes to elephants, yes, they are not found in the temperate grasslands of the United States of America, but prairie dogs are present in the United States of America in the temperate grasslands. So when we speak about grasslands, we have two types of grasslands. One happens to be the savannas, the second happens to be the temperate grasslands. These are the two types of grasslands which appear similar, but they also have similar differences as well. So what are these differences? The first major difference happens to be with respect to the species which are present in each of these regions. For example, when it comes to savannas in Africa, yes, elephants are present, but when it comes to prairie dogs, they are not present in Africa, but instead they are present in the temperate grasslands of United States of America. So these burrowing animals are present in the temperate grasslands of United States of America. These temperate grasslands are also known to have richer soils that are present than the savanna grasslands, and the savannas are present in the warm climate. They also have a rainy season and also dry season as well. Most of the precipitation that happens in the savanna will happen for only few months of the year. This results in what is called as the long dry season that inhibits the growth of the trees in this particular region, and as a result savannas maintain an open canopy despite a high tree density, and savannas are also characterized by seasonal water availability with the majority of the rainfall confined to one season. So the second and the third statements are correct. The first statement is wrong, which is why only two statements are correct with respect to this question. Now let's look into the next practice question. Consider the following pairs. We have the village or the town on the one side, the country it is present on the other side. Karzok, Iran, Henley, India, La Rincondo, Argentina. How many of the pairs are correctly matched? The answer to this is only one pair. Why have we taken this practice question? Because this article makes a mention of Karzok, it makes a mention of Hanley, it also makes a mention with respect to other place, that is La Rincoda. Because it makes a mention, UPSC in the year 2023 has asked some of the regions. So these regions, these villages, towns can also be asked in your preliminary practice question. So when you look into the first pair, we have Karzok. Karzok, is it in Iran? No, it is again present in India. We have Hanle, which is present in India. In which district or in which state do we have Karzok and Hanle is what you have to put on the comment section. The third statement reads La Rincando in Argentina. This statement and pair is also wrong. Why? Because this happens to be one of the regions which is present in the country of Peru, and it is not Argentina. Some of the important facts with respect to this place happens to be that this happens to be the world's highest settlement. This is present in the country of Peru at 5100 MSL, has attracted thousands of settlers after gold was discovered here. These days, adventure tourism also provides sustenance to the village of Loboshe in Nepal, supports climbers trying to scale Mount Everest. So, Loboshe happens to be another region which is present in the country of Nepal. So, all these places could be possibly asked in your preliminary examination. Now, let's look into the next practice question. Consider the following statements with respect to Bharatanatyam. The Abhinaya Dharpana by Nandikeshwara is one of the main sources of textual material for the study of the technique and grammar of body movement in Bharatanatyam dance. Bharatanatyam dance is known to be Ekaharya, where one dancer takes on many roles in a single performance. The first dance item is the Jatiswaram, literally meaning to adorn with flowers. It is an abstract piece combining pure dance with the recitation of sound syllables. How many of the above statements are correct? The answer to this is only 2. Why have we taken this practice question? Because this article on the Indian Express makes a reference to Bharatanatyam, which is why we have taken this practice question. Let us try and understand what are these statements. When you look into the first statement, the Abhinaya Darpana by Nandikeshwara is one of the main sources of textual material for the study of the technique and grammar of the body movement in Bharatanatyam dance. Yes, this statement is right. The second statement reads, Bharatanatyam dance is known to be Ekaharya. This statement is right. So what is Ekaharya here? Let's say for example, there is a Bharatanatyam dancer. The Bharatanatyam dancer is dancing on the stage. So the person whosoever is dancing will be able to play different roles in the very same dance. So one dancer takes on many different roles in one single performance, which is called as Ekaharya. The third statement is wrong. Why? That is because when it comes to the Bharatanatyam, what we have is the invocation song. So the first dance item is not Jatiswaram, but instead it happens to be Alaripu. So it is Alaripu and not Jatiswaram. After Alaripu, what we have is a Jatiswaram. This happens to be a short pure dance performed by the musical notes of any raga of the Carnatic music, and this Jatiswaram has no Sahitya, it has no words, it is composed of adavas which are pure dance sequences, and they form the basis of training in the Bharatanatyam dance. So remember, the first thing that we have is the Alaripu, which means to adorn with flowers, and it is an abstract piece combining pure dance with the recitation of the sound syllables. The third statement is wrong. The first and second statements are right. So only 2 statements are right. Let's look at some of the important facts with respect to Bharatanatyam. It is an important classical dance from India. It is used to be performed by Devadasis, thus it was also known as Dasyatanam. Believed to be 2000 years old, information about Bharatanatyam can be found in many ancient texts including Bharatamuni's Natya Shastra. The main source of the study for technique is in Nandikeshwara. There is a lot of visual evidence of Bharatanatyam in the stones and pillars of ancient temples. The precursor dance form to Bharatanatyam happens to be Sadar, and historical representation of this dance is available from the Sangam works like Silapattikaram and Mani Mekalai. The Brihadeshwara temple at Tanjavur has been a center for Bharatanatyam since 1000 CE. These are some of the important pointers with respect to Bharatanatyam. Now let's look into the next practice question. Consider the following statements. World Air Quality Report prepared by IQAir is based on the annual average level of pollutant PM 2.5 in the air. IQAir is a Swiss air quality technology company that prepares annual world quality reports based on IPCC reports. Which one of the following is correct in respect of the above statements? The answer to this is statement 1 is correct, but statement 2 is incorrect. Why have we taken this practice question? Because this article on the Hindu makes a reference to IQAR. What is this? This happens to be a Swiss air quality technology company. What does it do? It prepares annual world air quality reports based on the data that it collects from monitoring stations operated by different governments world over, as well as other institutions and organizations across the world. So it is not just with respect to the IPCC report, but instead it is from the data collected from the monitoring centers that are managed by different governments in different parts of the country and also by other institutions, organizations across the world. That is why the second statement is wrong. When you look into the first statement, yes, World Air Quality Report by IQAir is based on annual average level of pollutant PM 2.5 in air. Yes, this statement is right. As part of the assignment, you have to put on the comment section which is the most polluted city in the world as per IQAir. This article further makes a reference to Mumbai. It says Mumbai is one of the polluted cities in the country. It is also one of the major polluted cities in the world as well. There is a lot of air pollution in Mumbai. Added to air pollution, what we also have is Mumbai produces 7,500 tons of waste every day. Plastic waste has clogged key water channels, including the Methi and the Poisar rivers. So, where is Methi and the Poisar rivers? It is in Mumbai. It is in the state of Maharashtra. The devastating floods of 2005 was due to a combination of various factors, but this choked Methi's inability to naturally drain the flood water, which did not take place easily. Added to it, large scale development and construction projects, both by the public sector and the private sector, has taken a massive toll on the city as well. And at the same time, we also have number of projects, for example, the metro projects which have been initiated by the government. This has also devastated Mumbai as well. So the lungs of Mumbai, the trees of Mumbai are felled, and ultimately people are bound to be impacted by air pollution as well as waste management. So this article here says that Mumbai needs to be changed and it has to improve on the air quality as well as managing the solid waste management. Now let's look into the next practice question. The lowering of bank rate by the Reserve Bank of India leads to more liquidity in the market, less liquidity in the market, no change in the liquidity in the market, mobilization of more deposits by commercial banks. The answer to this is more liquidity in the market. This happens to be a previous year question from the year 2011. Now let's look into the fact of the day. The fact of the day for today's discussion is loss of Arctic sea ice. Let us try and understand what is this article all about. When we speak about Arctic sea ice, what exactly is happening? What we are witnessing of late is the impact of the climate change. Because of climate change, there is warming that is taking place, and as a result, what we have is the polar sites, that is the Arctic region. We also have the Antarctic region, which is actually witnessing a lot of warming. As a result of this warming, the ice caps that we have in the Arctic Sea is also melting as well. And when this particular melting takes place, there will be increase of the sea water level. And when the sea water level increases, this can lead to environmental migration between countries. It can also lead to devastation of land. Land will be taken and gobbled by the sea water. And at the same time, within the same country, all those places which are along the coastal areas, that will be eaten, eroded by the seawater, and ultimately there will be internal migration that can also take place. So this article currently goes on to say that even if the humans are able to reduce the emissions that they have been doing in the past few years, the Arctic Sea is bound to melt, says this article. So this article currently goes on to say that there was a particular study that was conducted by the United States Environment Protection Agency. What is the importance of the sea ice? It goes on to say sea ice is a light colored and therefore reflects more sunlight back to space than liquid water, thus playing a vital role in keeping solar regions cool and maintaining the Earth's energy balance. If there is melting of the ice that takes place, the reflection does not happen. Liquid water does not have this power to reflect in comparison to the sea ice, and ultimately what we will have is more warming and there will be melting of ice as well. Added to it, as the amount of sea ice decreases, the Arctic region's cooling effect is reduced. This may initiate a feedback loop whereby ocean warming caused by more absorption of solar energy leads to an even greater loss of sea ice and further warming. This will have a significant impact both on the animals as well as the human beings. One, there are people who are already acclimatized to this cold region. They also have different ways of consuming the food in this particular region. These people will be hit hard, and added to it, the biodiversity. Let's say, for example, different species like the polar bears, walruses, so on and so forth, their lifestyle will also be impacted, and ultimately everything will be in disarray. However, there is an added advantage because of the Arctic sea ice melting. What is it? We have discussed in the past as well that whenever these ice that is present in the Arctic region starts melting, what would happen? Ships would be able to move in this particular area. We also have the northern sea route as well. Once this Arctic sea ice starts melting, the ships would be able to move, and ultimately there is saving of the cost that takes place. This will further mean that there will be massive amount of petroleum and oil reserves which can also be exploited by the people. This happens to be the major advantage. There is very limited advantage, but the massive devastation it causes to the entire global community will be far more, says this article. So the diminished sea ice while warming the Arctic also leads to a weakening of the polar jet streams, which are currents of air that form the cold and the warm current. This weakening has been linked to rising temperature. When there is rising temperature, it will cause heat waves in Europe as well as unseasonal showers in the northwest India. While the ice-free summer may be inevitable, reducing carbon emissions might mean being better able to adapt to climate tipping points, says this article. It is this that we have to understand with respect to this topic. So this is it for today. Thank you for watching. All the best.